Welcome to When Gen X Ruled the Multiplex, where I shine the spotlight on some films that helped shape the minds of those of us who were born sometime between 1965 and 1980. Today's film, 1987's Dirty Dancing, was directed by Emile Ardolino, known at the time for producing award-winning documentaries about dancers and choreographers. After Dirty Dancing, he directed Three Men and a Little Lady and Sister Act, but would die in 1993 at age 50. The screenplay for Dirty Dancing was written by novelist Eleanor Bergstein, who based it on her experiences taking dance lessons while vacationing at a resort in the Catskills with her family when she was a teen. Made on a low budget with low expectations, Dirty Dancing was a huge success, thanks to a smash hit soundtrack, some great dance sequences which were choreographed by Kenny Ortega, who would go on to direct Newsies and High School Musical, and some scorching sexual chemistry between the film's two lead performers. In the summer of 1963, a teen girl named Baby Hausman heads into the Catskills to spend the summer at Kellerman's Resort. She's accompanied by her self-involved sister Lisa, played by Jane Brucker, her mother Marjorie, played by Gilmore Girls star Kelly Bishop, and her father Jake, played by the late Jerry Orbach, famous for playing Lenny Briscoe on Law & Order. Baby is played by Jennifer Grey, whom we've already seen in her scene-stealing role in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The Hausman family is greeted by the resort owner, Max Kellerman, played by character actor Jack Weston, and the family settles in for a summer of leisure. Socially aware Baby, who is set to join the Peace Corps, witnesses Kellerman giving instructions to the resort's wait staff, which consists of students from the various local Ivy League schools who are expected to romance and possibly marry the affluent and well-connected young daughters of the guests. The rest of the resort's staff, however, including the bellhops and the dance instructors, are regarded by Kellerman as second-class citizens, and they are expected to stay away from the guests. One of the dance instructors is blue-collar heartthrob Johnny Castle, who is played by the late Patrick Swayze, whom we've already seen in Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders. Kellerman tries to hook Baby up with his grandson Neil, a smug and clueless Cornell student played by theater director Lonnie Price. A waiter named Robbie, a med student at Yale, flirts with Lisa. Robbie is played by Village Voice journalist Max Cantor, who died of an overdose at age 32. In the ballroom, as bandleader Tito Suarez, played by tap dancer Charles Coles, leads the band in a lively mambo, the resort guests hit the dance floor. All attention is on Johnny and fellow dance instructor Penny, played by Staying Alive star Cynthia Rhodes, whom we saw in Flashdance. On the dance floor, Johnny and Penny are graceful and glamorous, and Baby, who is too self-conscious to dance well, is mesmerized by them. Baby goes for a walk and comes across the staff quarters. They're off limits to guests, but Johnny's friendly cousin, a bellhop named Billy, played by Neil Jones, invites Baby inside. The resort staff are having themselves a wild dance party, cutting loose and grinding on each other in a blatantly sexual way. Johnny is irked at his cousin for bringing a guest into their inner sanctum, but he nonetheless teaches Baby a few quick fundamentals of dancing. These involve a lot of meaningful eye contact and pelvic gyrations, all of which Baby finds pretty interesting. The next night, Neil smuggles Baby into the kitchen for a late evening snack. Baby spots Penny hiding in a corner, sobbing and miserable. Baby gets rid of Neil, then summons Billy and Johnny for help. It turns out Penny is pregnant by Robbie. She doesn't have the $250 necessary to pay a traveling doctor for an illegal abortion, and Robbie has refused to help her out. Baby confronts Robbie to ask for the money. Instead, he calls Penny a tramp and loans Baby his well-read copy of The Fountainhead. In response, Baby dumps a pitcher of cold water on his crotch, which seems fair. Baby borrows the $250 from her father. She lies and tells him it's not for anything illegal. The only night the doctor will be in town to perform the abortion is the same night Penny and Johnny are scheduled to perform an important dance routine at another local resort. Despite her utter lack of dance experience, Baby volunteers to fill in for Penny. So Johnny gives Baby a crash course in learning how to dance in a montage set to, among other songs, Eric Carmen's Hungry Eyes. I haven't talked much yet about the soundtrack, which is both really excellent and really all over the place. The music is a mixture of period-appropriate songs like Big Girls Don't Cry and Do You Love Me, period-appropriate songs covered by quintessentially 80s artists like Leslie Gore's 1963 hit You Don't Own Me, covered by The Blow Monkeys, and songs that strictly belong in the world of 1987, like Eric Carmen's Hungry Eyes. Anachronistic song choices are sometimes used very deliberately in films to make a point, as in Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette, which uses songs like Bow Wow Wow's I Want Candy in a film set in 18th century France to make the point that the young king and queen of France weren't too dissimilar from modern-day teens. In Dirty Dancing, though, they're just trying to sell records and drive viewers into the theater by jamming the soundtrack full of as many catchy tunes as possible, regardless of whether they're appropriate for the era. And it obviously worked. This was a big hit film with a big hit soundtrack, but it's still hilariously jarring when Hungry Eyes strikes up. Baby and Johnny squabble a lot, but the more time they spend in close proximity to each other, the more they become aware of their growing sexual attraction, especially when Johnny tries to teach Baby a pretty ambitious dance lift. The big night arrives, and Baby and Johnny get through the performance. Despite some awkward moments, they do okay, though Baby botches the lift. When they arrive back at the resort, they find the abortion went poorly, and Penny is in a great deal of pain. Baby fetches her father, who is a doctor, and he helps Penny. Jake is furious that Baby lied to him, and he bans her from seeing the resort staff. Baby promptly sneaks out to see Johnny, and they begin a sexual relationship. As they fall deeper in love, Johnny continues to give Baby dance lessons. They dance around while lip-syncing adorably to the Mickey and Sylvia hit Love is Strange. This performance includes a part where Johnny rocks out to an air guitar solo, because sometimes this film totally loses track of the idea that it's supposed to be set in 1963. At the rehearsal for the resort's annual talent show, Lisa sings a gloriously inane song called Hula Hana, which was co-written by Jane Brucker, who plays Lisa. The wealthy husband of a sexy guest named Vivian Pressman, played by the film's assistant choreographer Miranda Garrison, tries to slip Johnny a bunch of cash to boink his bored and horny wife. Due to his relationship with Baby, Johnny turns the Pressmans down. Hoping to lose her virginity to Robbie, Lisa drops by his cabin and finds him in bed with Vivian Pressman. When Vivian leaves in the morning, she spots a postcoital Baby and Johnny canoodling. Over breakfast, Kellerman tells the Hausman family that Vivian's husband's wallet was stolen. Vivian lies and places the blame on Johnny. Baby confesses that she spent the night with Johnny, giving Johnny an alibi for the theft, but further damaging her relationship with her hurt and angry father. Even though Johnny is cleared for the wallet theft, he gets fired anyway for sleeping with one of the guests. Johnny says goodbye to Baby while She's Like the Wind plays. This is a song that was sung by Patrick Swayze and was originally co-written by Swayze to be used in the soundtrack for the 1984 film Grandview, USA. It's a lovely song. It was a big top 10 hit in 1987. It was omnipresent on the radio, and like Eric Carmen's Hungry Eyes, it has no business in 1963. At the big talent show that marks the closing night of the season, Jake gives Robbie some cash to pay for medical school, but snatches it back when Robbie blabs that he was the one who got Penny pregnant. While Baby sits with her parents in a dark corner, Johnny unexpectedly shows up and dramatically announces, in one of the film's most famous moments, that nobody puts Baby in a corner. He drags Baby on stage and announces to the crowd that he and Baby are going to perform the last dance of the season. They do a dance routine scored to the duet I've Had the Time of My Life, which was a Grammy and Oscar-winning #1 hit for Bill Medley and Jennifer Warnes. Johnny leaps off the stage to indulge in some flash dance-style modern dancing, and the entire club staff joins in with some synchronized choreography that would not have looked out of place in Michael Jackson's Beat It video. Baby and Johnny execute a flawless lift for the first time ever. Baby's dad tells Johnny he misjudged him and reconciles with his daughter, and the staff and guests dance their way into the end credits. As is the case with so many classic 1980s teen films, Dirty Dancing was followed by a short-lived and ill-advised TV show. The 1988 Dirty Dancing TV series starred Melora Hardin and Patrick Cassidy and ran for 11 episodes. There was a 2004 sequel in name only, Dirty Dancing Havana Nights, that featured a cameo by Patrick Swayze but otherwise had no ties to the original film. There was also a 2017 made-for-TV remake that aired on ABC, which I have not seen but received such universally scathing reviews that I kind of feel like I should see it. The remake was criticized for pretty much everything, but particularly the lack of romantic sparks between the two leads, especially when compared to the legendary chemistry between Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey in the original. Very famously, Grey and Swayze did not get along at all. They didn't get along when they worked together in the 1984 teen action flick Red Dawn, and they continued that animosity throughout the filming of Dirty Dancing. While both actors were too professional to let their mutual dislike bleed into their performances, I would argue that their fractious off-screen relationship actually unwittingly enhanced their on-screen chemistry. Thanks to their differences in age and social class and sexual experience, Baby and Johnny are never totally relaxed around each other, even while they're falling in love. As a romantic pair, they don't have a lived-in comfortable vibe. They seem like adversaries who also happen to be horny for each other. It's possible that Grey and Swayze's real-life hostility gave an added boost to that aspect of their performances. Whatever the case, they are pretty phenomenally sexy together. While some of the other big dance films of the 80s hedged their bets, Dirty Dancing draws a direct link between dancing and sex. In Footloose and Girls Just Want to Have Fun, both of which I've looked at here, there's an overwhelming spirit of, we just want to dance, and our parents won't let us for nebulous reasons having to do with dancing somehow leading to trouble. Dirty Dancing gets to the point. dancing leads to sex. Look at the difference between the very tame resort-sanctioned dancing, where everyone does a nice mambo or maybe forms a conga line, versus the down and dirty bump and grind going on in the staff quarters. Compared to Girls Just Want to Have Fun or Footloose, Dirty Dancing does a much more direct job of presenting certain kinds of dancing as dangerous, in the way that overprotective parents might view it as dangerous. But Dirty Dancing isn't at all judgmental about that danger. Dancing does lead to sex pretty much in a point A to point B trajectory in the case of Baby and Johnny, and the film clearly thinks that's a pretty swell thing for both of them. Penny gets pregnant as a result of sex with Robbie, but the film doesn't think of her as a bad girl. Robbie's not a bad guy for having sex with Penny, he's a bad guy for treating her poorly and shirking his responsibility. The film is set in 1963, a year that was pretty important in the transition from the 50s, when post-war America was prosperous and at least superficially calm and orderly, to the more turbulent 60s. 1963 was the year of the Kennedy assassination and Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. The US was becoming increasingly involved in the growing conflict in Vietnam. Bob Dylan recorded The Times They Are A-Changin' in 1963, and those changing times are the foundation of Dirty Dancing. Kellerman's resort represents an era on the wane. Max Kellerman knows his resort doesn't have many seasons left in it because young people are starting to want things out of life that don't have much to do with magic shows and mambo lessons. While Lisa Houseman is depicted as frivolous, younger sister Baby has some substance. She's concerned about the plight of East Asia, and she's going into the Peace Corps, and she's critical of the class-based strife between the staff and guests of Kellerman's. Lisa represents where young people have been, and Baby represents where young people are going. Dirty Dancing reflected the spirit of a changing time, which is not a bad accomplishment for a teen film about sexy people doing some sexy dancing and engaging in sexy shenanigans with each other. Next time, we're going to look at some sexy vampires, David Bowie very much included, in Tony Scott's The Hunger. Thank you for your time. I hope to see you then.